Like there was no cat that wandered by that
Yeah.
knocked a domino over.
Oh my, yeah, a fly lands on it.
Or maybe he
Yeah.
set up the dominoes, but just like removed every 10th one, and then
Damn,
somehow
that's
between
pretty
arriving and he went back out and put it in again.
He just creeps away and pops in an extra domino.
Yeah.
Oh. You know they put hinges on all those dominoes to get them back up really easily? I learned that from the commentary.
Yeah,
That's smart, yeah. And they were like giant dominoes, weren't they, for the close-up shots? They were like 10 times the size of normal ones. Weren't they?
Yeah, they built some big old dominoes.
Like the size of books.
But that scene, right? It's just, this movie is just so silly.
Yeah.
This is the silliest movie. And
It's
so
so
for me,
dumb, but I loved it so much.
exactly, right? It's, what I love about Rennie Harlan? And I think, Lindsay, you already nailed it. He kills people so hard.
They stay dead, mostly.
Yeah. For the record, I am fine with that. Like,
Yeah.
like you're saying, we don't get to see a lot of. I wish they made more movies with this element of like I'm watching a movie. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's totally okay with me that this is like in like Bizarro land. Like it, you know what I mean? Meaning like I know this is over the top, but that's kind of why I'm watching it.
But I feel like this is almost a forgotten film, because I used to do lists on my site where I would look up like lists of cool deaths in some ways. I've never seen Mindhunters come up, and it has some like genuinely unique kills, like the Christian Slater death, the melting from the inside with the acid. There's.
I agree, because I have like this is like my go-to. I need to put a movie on that it's okay if I do fall asleep to it, but I kind of want to watch something interesting. This is like that movie for me. And when you mentioned it, it was like a recovered memory where I was like, oh yeah, I kind of remember that. But this is like, I would have put this on and then ended up watching the whole thing because I was so entranced by, well, what's it going to be? Who is it? Because I wouldn't have remembered.
It's kind of like a Final Destination where it's just these really elaborate death sequences.
Right.
Just watching people get killed. But with more of a mystery element to it.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, like you make such a good point though, Lindsay. Like this is just a fun movie. This is Rennie Harlan. I feel like they knew what they were doing on this. They just said, like Wayne Kramer wrote it. You had Akiva Goldsman behind the scenes. I think this is the movie they set out to make. Correct me if I'm wrong. It's just a fun mystery. I don't know, Agatha Christie movie. That's just it gets so weird at times. Like that's why I love it. It's just they play it kind of seriously. Then Christian Slater melts and explodes like a T-1000, or like gets frozen then explodes. It's beautiful. Hey, do you want to hear a real random story that I just remembered?
I want to know how it connects to Christian Slater freezing and exploding. So yes, please.
Okay, so I was working on a show called Surgeon General. They were shooting a pilot for it, and in the show was Mike Coulter, Jason Isaac, Sean Astin, and Catherine Morris, who plays Sarah Moore in this movie. And when she was shooting the pilot, I believe she was about 8 months pregnant, and they would put her in hair and makeup, and she stood up and someone moved the chair that she was sitting in. And I saw it happen, and she was about to sit down, Catherine Morris, 8 months pregnant, and she was just going to fall back and just land on the ground. But I saw it happening, and I caught her before she hit the ground. And then I became like the golden boy of that production.
Nice.
So like I have a Catherine Moore. I was watching it and it brought back memories of the time I saved her from taking a plummet to the ground.
You physically touched somebody in this film. That's incredible.
And then like the makeup artist was like, "Thank you so much, man," because that could have been bad. But that just brought back memories of that story. And also Sean Astin lectured me about how to take photos, and then he told me about the woods, like where I live. It's like, thanks, man. But yeah, that's the story about Catherine Morris. Just thought y'all would like that.
Is she the lead in this movie?
Yeah, she's the underwater gunfighter.
Okay, real talk. Does she have a wig on this whole movie, or am I nuts?
I didn't pick up on that.
Because she's in Cold Case.
It is a wild. If that is her hair, it's a wild haircut. It like comes away from her head.
It's kind of Meg Ryan-y a little bit.
But
a little. Yeah.
It's sketchy, guys, is what I'm saying.
Well, look at her Cold Case hair. No, she's got. I think it's real.
Okay, she has like very thick hair then, and I felt like that haircut was. I don't know. Maybe should have stayed in 2005. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. She's a lovely, beautiful woman, but I was like watching it the whole time because I was like, is that real? It looked like it was placed upon her head.
I was more obsessed with Val Kilmer's hair. in this.
Well, aren't we always?
Yeah,
but
just,
Hank Harris is a good character.
he's not in the film enough. I was disappointed when I saw like Val Kilmer's in this film. I was like, great, Val Kilmer's going to be in the film, and he's like, on screen for less than 5 minutes, but on IMDb is top billed.
And
well,
eating cake.
that makes
I know
sense.
it's Val Kilmer.
Yeah, I was a little bummed he wasn't in it more. I just didn't understand why. You know, I was like, where you at?
Yeah.
I
wasn't getting much
I
work
thought
at the
it was
time.
indicative that maybe it was like the misdirect of who he was, but I thought that was indicative that he was going to have something more up his sleeve at the end than what happened.
Yeah, because he had another pretty gnarly death. It's off screen, but he's been turned into a puppet, just dancing around. It's awful. I watched this film with my wife. I didn't fully know how gruesome some bits would be before going in. My wife is not a fan of any kind of horror film. It should have clicked that I recorded this off of a channel called Horror Channel, but I didn't even think about it. So I was in the doghouse a little bit after watching this because she's not a fan. And I think it was mainly the Val Kilmer turned into a puppet, jangling around his corpse scene.
Yeah, he gets lit up in this. It's not good, but I love it.
Lucas did that on his own. How? I want to see that. I believe he could. Just want to see how.
Okay, wait. Oh God, darn it. Okay, now I have so many questions.
I mean, Michael Myers strings bodies up in trees, and like Curse of Michael Myers, he hangs up a shock jock in a tree with Christmas lights, and no one notices.
But he's a paranormal entity.
I feel like in serial killer worlds that are not of our own, killers can do this. I think these movies take place in like the horror channel land, where this is possible with just one person.
And he does talk about like setting up a mousetrap and pulleys and levers and things. So maybe he has the ability.
Okay, but guys, now I'm really confused. So, what? Please don't. What did JLM base his serial killer identity off of? What Val Kilmer had set up as the crime scene here?
Are we
pulling that together now? Okay,
but only for only Val Kilmer's death, because I feel like when Christian Slater died, that's the puppeteer's first death scene. Oh, hang on. So I would
say he does it all.
I don't think so. I think
he doesn't do the mannequin, because that's technically the crime. Because even Val Kilmer says you're going to this island. The killer's like I'm pretty sure he mentions that it's like a puppeteer is his name or some shit.
So that means that JLM must have set up the trap that killed Christian Slater after Val Kilmer had set up the mannequin.
Yes.
Otherwise those dominoes would have fallen. No question.
Oh.
I suppose it's a mannequin. It could have been there for a month. Who knows?
True. But if they're supposed to like process that scene,
and there's like fresh blood.
Yeah, now I gotta go back and watch that.
Oh, what the hell?
That's a pretty elaborate fake puppeteer kill. If I was an FBI profiler, I would just be like the stabber, and I would lay a mannequin on the ground. Like I wouldn't spend that much time hanging it in there.
Like we were talking about, we saw the opening sequence. Guy had a whole, feasibly a whole neighborhood, because remember they just drive up to that motel.
Who's the prop department, right? Like who are the prop department in the FBI? Like is there
I love it.
It's like Argo. There's a whole film production crew.
Now that we're like working it out, how could any profiler profile JLM? Maybe he is one of the greatest serial. Like how would you even profile someone who invents their own like MO based off of just what happenstance FBI program he got into, right? Yeah. Like, because he's not a puppeteer guy, and we don't know if he's killed before other than his family. Yeah, so, okay, lots of questions.
He's just killing because he wants difficult people to kill, and he thinks the most difficult people to kill are FBI profilers.
Which, like, fair enough. I didn't think that was, like, I can run with that.
So he's a predator? Like a Yautja?
Pretty much, yeah.
Sorry, Lindsay.
Yeah. No, you're fine. I'm still like thinking that through. So, yeah, I don't know. It's a rough one.
Did he bring the poison cigarettes with him?
I mean, he couldn't have found them there.
Yeah, I mean, and also, like, how do you carry those things?
And there were a lot, because there was a cigarette carton fell out of every cigarette machine on the island at the same time.
All right, let's do the deaths chronologically, because I think I want to talk about it all.
Okay.
What happens after Chris and Slater?
The next one is the British guy, Rafe. When they all drink the coffee. When LL Cool J face plants after drinking the coffee, I audibly screamed no at my TV because I thought he was dead. I was like, we've just lost Chris and Slater. I cannot lose Lady Death Cool James.
Yeah,
seconds later.
I would have been pissed if I didn't get some of those one-liners in there. But he has the best one at the end, which I'm sure we'll talk about. But yeah, this one is like where it starts to get like, this is very Saw level intricate. Like, why does he need to be drained of the blood? Why does the blood need to be used to do the light sequencing? Like, you get what I'm saying? Like, wow, lots of moving parts there.
Yeah, does he like to gamble though? Remember they say JLM likes to gamble, so maybe this all could have fallen apart. He just likes to, like, this was a big gamble on his part. Like when he gets called out, when Jensen, which isn't like, I hate that name. But when
it's Gabe Jensen, the least LL Cool J name you can think of.
And then when he calls him, when he's like, you like to gamble. So this was a big gamble. Do you think it was kind of impulsive?
No, definitely not. But I think that's what I'm saying is like the level. I think it could have been like equally as creative, but it's so elaborate that like, I don't know, like the why the blood draining? Like I get that he had a coffee addiction, which by the way, that's the loosest.
And because they all drank the coffee. Every single one of them.
My first reaction was like, there's no non-coffee drinkers in the bunch, I guess.
He died with his caffeine addiction that the rest of us didn't have. We just drink coffee.
We just do it at a normal.
We can quit whenever we want.
Yeah, so that one was like, it felt like, I just don't like this guy. I got to get him out of here early. So
his other British guy who gets to keep his accent. Get rid of him.
So is JLM, is he in real life, is he British?
Yes, Johnny.
Or is he American?
He's from England. He's
okay, because I know he does, but he's also done like Hackers, and then now he does like Elementary or whatever. So I don't know what his actual accent is.
He's
not sure.
From Surrey, Kingston upon Thames.
Good to know.
He's not from Texas?
He's not from Texas, but I did like that somebody else was called Sherlock Holmes. The British guy was called Sherlock Holmes.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
When Johnny the Miller is in this film.
At first, I thought it was directed at him, and I was like, "Oh, that would have been really funny."
That's some prescience.
But yeah, his accent. I'm not gonna lie, I didn't understand where he was going with it like half the time, because to me it honestly doesn't even sound Southern. I didn't know what it was. It sounded like he was trying to do one of, when like people are like, I'll do a Northwest Quadrant New Orleans accent, and they get really specific and it's just wild. That's what this sounded like.
It sounded to me reminiscent of Lucas Black in Tokyo Drift. Which is not a good accent, as far as I know.
No, it's his real accent, though. He's from Arkansas.
But it's not a good accent. It sounds...
Wait, Lucas Black's own voice isn't good?
Lucas Black sounds like he's putting on a bad accent in those films. Drift. I just want to drift.
Yeah. I think I'd be more annoyed with Johnny Lee's accent had I not seen the Mauritanian with Benedict Cumberbatch and his South Carolinian accent. That one.
I haven't seen that one, but I've heard him do other American, in air quotes, accents. Yeah.
It kind of drove me mad a little bit. So I was like, well,
there's
Johnny
no
Lee's
way.
not even trying.
Yeah, I was gonna say there's no way he had to have that accent. Do you think?
No,
like, there's not a chance that they were like, no, we really need this guy to be from Texas.
It's integral to his character.
It actually reminds me, this is like a really weirdly specific memory, and I don't even know if I'm going to remember the name of. There was this Mark Wahlberg movie called Contraband that came out. Do you guys remember this? It wasn't all that long ago.
I
remember
it,
where he's scratching his back.
Yeah. It's like it's a throwaway movie. Probably not a lot to remember. But in that movie, it cracked me up because it does